Hi there. Today I decided I was just going to turn my camera on. I don't really have a script, don't really have, anything planned that I was going to talk about. I just decided that whatever came from my heart is what's going to come out in this discussion. What I realized is that I'm living in a different time. Things are so different, even just from a year ago, 6 months ago, 2 months ago, last week. I've been working behind the scene, and for probably the last 2 years, I've really had my head down doing a lot of what I call the infrastructural work around what I am doing next in this life of mine. And on the journey of exploring what comes next, I've been dealing with like life, right? And the part of life, what I mean is what work looked like for me. I'm a career executive assistant. A majority of that time I spent in the C suite, and I spent 35 years there. So that's been my life, an executive assistant in the corporate realm. And I felt like that's really all I knew. And at a point in my life, I actually really defined myself around that work and wasn't really capable of separating myself from it because I was so consumed in that work. And anyone who's ever been involved in executive assistant work understands that there's no stop and start point, it's always on. And, so after stepping away from the profession after 35 years, I felt like I still had the on switch, and it seemed like it just would not go off. There comes a time when you realize life is speaking a different message to you. And sometimes we may be paying attention, sometimes we may not be. And so the turning point in my life really just had to grab a hold and get my attention. And it took 2 years. It really took about that long for me to begin to start what I call myself moving away from what I had known for over 30 years. So, over the last couple of years, what I've been doing is separating myself from that. It hasn't been quite 2 years since I've stepped away from corporate America, but it has been about 2 years since I've been working to pull myself away from the profession as a whole. And I began to explore, what am I going to do next? I'm middle age. This is all I've done. This is all I've known. And I felt like it defined who I was. I experienced a great degree of success. And I thought, okay, so since I've experienced the levels of success in the work that I've done for as many years as I had invested in this work, what am I going to do next? Well, there's so many things that I do, so many things that I can do. And I generally just am a very curious person by nature. So I do many things. So I spent time in deciding, what does life look like next for me? And it wasn't a very easy decision. It wasn't a very easy, time to just look at, what am I going to do next? I keep saying that because it's actually really a real type realization, is that the space and the place that I'm at, I'm not here by myself. There's so many people at a crossroad in their lives right now, whether it's by choice, circumstances, or just the happenings of life. But there are many people who ask that very question, what comes next, right? And that is a real question that deserves a real answer, and it deserves for us to explore it. And so, in the space that I am creating, that space is, let's discover together what comes next.